Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishwotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Hari Om and greetings from Grand Bend, which is in Ontario. The word Kali, there's many meanings to the word Kali. One of them is fast. In the period of time we're living in, all moves fast. And what Rishi Vyasa has observed is people are fast to give up virtues and to give in to vices. Knowing this, that people's commitments, people's determination is becoming more flimsy, Rishi Vyasa has put together what is known as Sattvata Samhita. Samhita means a collection. Sattvata, that which encourages sattva, that which is like sat. Srimad Bhagavatam is known as a Sattvata Samhita. And we are all engaged in a yajna. We are dedicated to Srimad Bhagavatam. Our yajna is for Swarga. Now this is very contradictory because we all know Swarga is a place of pleasure. You enjoy and you come back. This Swarga is different. This Swarga is known as Svar Sukham Gacchati. We do want to go towards happiness, but where is this happiness coming from? Swaha, from ourselves. We are studying Srimad Bhagavatam not just for the Katha, but for the Vedanta. How does this knowledge relate to me? How is this knowledge of me? Skanda 1, our first two shlokas of the entire Bhagavatam. Please try to chant along with me with the text. Janmadyasya yatonvayaditaratascarteshvabhignaswarat tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyanti yat surayaha tejo vani mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. I contemplate on, I reflect upon, I listen to the parasatya, the highest knowledge of the highest gain. This is janma dhyasya. This has come from the one who is the creator, the conserver, the controller. In other words, from Bhagavan. Bhagavan is abhignaha, the one who knows all. Bhagavan is swarat, which means independent. This is a lovely word. Brahma, who is the first incarnation of Lord Narayana, he has learned this Veda. Brahma, Adi Kavaye. So in this first two lines, we're understanding that what we're contemplating upon, what we're reflecting on what we're listening to is not a human composition. This is a divine revelation. That's the ends, the absolute, and the means is dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parer Ishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Tetra Kritibi Shushrushubistatchana. The means is dharma. This dharma demands that we renounce all selfishness because that's the only way to tune into the parama, that which is the highest. This is Vedyam. Vedyam is, this is to be known. Biology is not Vedyam. Knowing how to drive is not Vedyam. Bhagavatam is Vedyam. Shivadam, tapatrayon mulanam. This leads to egolessness, and if there's no ego, all of the tapatraya, from the waking, dreaming, sleep, from the body, mind, intellect, etc. All dukkha is nivrittihi, is let go of. All sukha is praptihi. I find myself. I smile within myself. Sanatana Dharma is like, I think it's pronounced, cambium. Does anyone know what cambium is? Cambium is how a tree grows. It keeps growing but containing that tree within itself. Correct? That's what cambium is. Sanatana Dharma is dynamic like this. It keeps adapting without losing vision, without losing the means, without losing the ends, obviously. And Srimad Bhagavatam is a fine example of this. In Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 7, Rishi Sanat Kumara asks Rishi Narada, what have you studied? And he said, I studied the fourth Veda and the four Vedas and the fifth Veda. The fifth Veda is the Itihasa and Purana. Isn't that lovely that we know there to be four Vedas, but even the Itihasas and the Puranas have come to be as important as the four Vedas? It shows that our scriptures are alive. In other religions, there's a scripture and nothing ever comes from that. It doesn't grow. It doesn't adapt. But you see, that's not the case in our context. Last week, we were studying how simple Rishi Narada is. He lived with people who loved him and he loved them back. And these people who loved him, these sadhus, they taught him to love Bhagwan. That's the simplest way to live. And he loved Bhagwan. He loved Bhagwan so much that Bhagwan gifted him with the Devadatta. Devadatta means, that's the name of his veena. And what comes from the veena, what comes from his mouth is only Narayana. Narayana. He only has, we have a whole lot of this thought and the I thought. He only has the I thought. His thoughts of Bhagwan are the same as thoughts of I. He's a solid example of unitasking. Only Bhagwan. What this means more subjectively is, Naram dadati iti Narada. Only a presence like Rishi Narada can give. Dadati Naram. Naram means knowledge. You can only give what you have. And the fact that he's giving it shows that he has it. Naram dadati. We continue in Skanda 1. and I told you that within Srimad Bhagavatam is all else, there's a large portion of the first skanda that revisits the Mahabharata. If you're reading Guruji's commentary, he does not highlight this, but I told you that we're going to follow the literal translation of Bhagavatam, and I'll focus on what's important to us. So we are going to go through Mahabharata today. So it's your good fortune that in half an hour you get to access 100,000 mantras. And after the Mahabharata, then what we know to be famous beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam with Raja Parikshita and so on, that will come. But there's a lot of beauty in revisiting the Mahabharata. Now again, why Mahabharata? Because Raja Parikshita, who's the listener of Bhagavatam, is the son of Abhimanyu, who's the son of Prince Arjuna. I am on the 8th Adhyaya, the 13th shloka. I'll read lines 1 and 2. Vyasanam vikshatat tesham ananya vishayatmanam sudarshanena swastrena swanam raksham vyadad vibhuhu, which means seeing the intense and sorrowful condition of those who love him. Bhagavan Krishna is observing that all of the remaining Pandavas are so distressed because what has been directed towards them is the Brahmastra. Who has sent this Brahmastra? Ashwatthama. And Bhagavan Krishna, out of love, he is Vibhu, the one who has endless love, he releases his Sudarshana and catches all of that energy and absorbs all of that energy in his Sudarshana. Now you're thinking, where does Raja Parikshita come into this? Ashwatthama releases the Brahmastra twice. How many of you knew that? This is the first time he releases it. So now I'll tell you about this. When the Pandavas felt relieved that they were not going to be harmed by this Brahmastra, then Prince Arjuna goes and captures Ashwatthama and ties him up like an animal. Ties him up like an animal. And some are saying that he should be killed, some are saying he shouldn't be killed. And they release Ashwatthama. They do release Ashwatthama because he made a mistake. Ashwatthama is the son of our arms guru, that is Dronacharya. But then Ashwatthama comes back again. And Ashwatthama, when he comes back again, he kills all of the infants of the Pandavas. He actually goes into where they're all staying. And what I had read was that he beheads all of them. And someone may interpret this as, wow, so much violence in the Bhagavatam or Mahabharata. But we all know that to be happening. It has happened, it is happening, isn't it? There's such real violence that is happening, that has happened. And I think it's important to note, our scriptures are not a fantasy, they're a reality. And there's people like Ashwatthama that are willing to do that to infants, so real violence. When they capture Ashwatthama again, and now again more dialogue of, do we kill him, do we release him? One of the loudest voices to encourage him to be released is Mother Draupadi. Shows her immense large heart that her sons infants have just been murdered. And she actually goes and touches the feet of Ashwatthama out of reverence for the Guru Shishya Parampara. So here we see real violence and we also see real compassion. Really moving to read all of this. When Ashwatthama is released, this time he's so livid. He's so loyal to Duryodhana that he's clouded in his judgment. He releases that Brahmastra again. And as the Pandavas are relaxed, they're just being with themselves, Uttara comes running towards Bhagavan Krishna, and she's deeply distressed because she can see that Brahmastra and it's been directed at her womb. And she's praying to Bhagavan Krishna that the only one who can save me is you. And Bhagavan Krishna does absorb that Brahmastra. And I'll share with you in more detail about how he does that. And with this comes the end of this war. The Pandavas are now settled. The Kauravas have no one to retaliate. As all of the Pandavas are remembering Bhagavan Krishna, there is a famous portion that is highlighted in Bhagavatam known as Kunti Stuti. And I'll read to you a line. This is the 8th Adhyaya. This is the 25th shloka for your reference. Vipadaha santu naha shashvat tatra jagad guru bhavato darshanam yat syat apunar bhava darshanam. Where she says, you have saved us again and again and again, and as we are now settled and you are returning to Dwarka, and everyone knows that he's returning back to his abode too, she's saying that every time we suffered, you were there to relieve us of our suffering. We got to have your darshana. Please bless us with more suffering so that we can have your darshana again and again and again. I feel that this revisiting of the Mahabharata is very much in line with International Women's Day. We see how awesome Devi Draupadi is, how awesome Devi Kunti is. If we can have a trace of that compassion or courage, we would just be different people. There'd be no stress, no anxiety, no feeling that I'm being taken advantage of. If anyone's been taken advantage of, it's Devi Draupadi, but she's giving compassion in that context. The Kunti Stuti is shared. When Raja Yudhishthira returns to Hastinapur, he is too overcome by attachment. And that's an important note too, to show the reality of how difficult it is to overcome attachment, isn't it? He keeps thinking about all of the people who have passed, his uncles, his sons, how this has affected the entire country and generation. He's overcome by all of this. And they have nowhere to go, so they go back to Bhagavan Krishna. Tell us what to do. And Bhagavan Krishna says, you should go and learn from Acharya Bhishma. So they all go to Acharya Bhishma. And Acharya Bhishma is lying down on his bed of arrows. And when they all come to see Acharya Bhishma, hundreds of other sadhus do too, including Rishi Vashishta comes, Rishi Vyasa comes, Rishi Shuka comes. It shows the greatness of someone to see who comes and honors them in their death. Acharya Bhishma teaches Raja Yudhishthira a lot, including Vishnu Sahasranama. If we think that Raja Yudhishthira has seen loss, if anyone has seen more loss than him, it is Acharya Bhishma. Nobody has seen more loss than he has. And he teaches us so much that attachment or raga comes from vikshepa or projection. And vikshepa or projection comes from avidya. Avidya. As Rishi Bhishma, as Acharya Bhishma, his body is dying, he's enlightened at this point. That's why he knows the genesis of where attachment comes from. It comes from projection. Projection comes from ignorance. He's not ignorant anymore. He has Ishvara Darshana. He knows Bhagavan Krishna. In fact, when Bhagavan Krishna looks at Acharya Bhishma's body, all of his wounds are healed. All of his pain goes away. There are long portions of stuti that Acharya Bhishma shares towards Bhagavan Krishna. And I was studying all of this last night at like 2 or 3 a.m. And I was working so hard not to become emotional with this because it's so real. It's our itihasas, our history, that's being shared in a way that we can all feel, we can all experience. I know how large Bhagavatam is in quantity and quality. If you can dedicate some years of your life, study every shloka, like I'm doing as we study Bhagavatam. And then Acharya Bhishma, when he sees the sun in Uttarayana is moving in the northern direction, he merges with Bhagavan Krishna. And for a long time, the whole outer environment and everyone's inner environment becomes still. How much respect and love and truth surrounded Acharya Bhishma. With Acharya Bhishma's passing on and Raja Yudhishthira finding some balance, he and Bhagavan Krishna went to Raja Dhritarashtra and Rani Gandhari. And they went and consoled them. I again highlight how much forgiveness there is. Who was the ultimate cause of this Mahabharata war? Raja Dhritarashtra. If anyone could have stopped it, it was him, but he didn't, due to his attachment too. See the beauty there? Raja Dhritarashtra is attached. So was Raja Yudhishthira, but he learned about it and learned from it. Raja Dhritarashtra never did. He just said, this is how I'm supposed to be. And they went and consoled both of them. Amazing how one should be in a family and with people. All of these details. We continue with our Mahabharata. We go to chapter 12. I'm on chapter 12 now, and I'm on shloka 30. Sa esha loke vikhyataha parikshaditi yat prabhuhu garbhe drishtam anudyayan pariksheta nareshviha. Raja Parikshita is in his mother's womb, in Uttara's womb. And all of a sudden he sees this heat and light that's coming towards him. And he looks over and he sees the size of a thumb. There's a being with 4 arms and a crown and a mala. And he's spinning his mace so fast that it's on fire. And slowly that heat and light dissipates, and all that remains is he sees this figure with that mace on fire. I was sharing with all of you how Raja Parikshita was saved from that Brahmastra, that Bhagavan Krishna went into Uttara's womb. And if you think about this in a physical sense, that really shows that she gave birth to Bhagavan, that Raja Parikshita's elder brother is Bhagavan Krishna. And he spun that mace and absorbed all of that Brahmastra. I've shared with you earlier about Rishi Shuka that when an infant is in a mother's womb, what are they remembering? They're remembering their past. Now, how fortunate Raja Parikshita is, he's not just remembering his past, he's remembering or seeing his future. We know that Raja Parikshita is with Bhagavan Krishna when his body dies. So leading up to this, Raja Yudhishthira, as he's engaged in his responsibilities, he's engaged in this but is finding no joy in what he's doing. All of the Pandavas, everyone in Hastinapur was only with Bhagavan Krishna. When Bhagavan Krishna decides to return to Dwaraka, what kind of farewell they give to him is surreal. And you really have to visualize that Bhagavan is leaving them. You have to visualize that someone who's done everything for you, someone who loves you more than you know love, is leaving. That's what the scene in Hastinapur is. And the opposite is happening in Dwaraka. Bhagavan Krishna is so fun. When he arrives at the outer portions of Dwaraka, what does he do? When you arrive at someone's home, what do? You ring the doorbell, correct? How does Bhagavan Krishna do that? He blows the Panchajanya. He blows his card saying, I'm here. And the whole city lights up. Outside, inside, it's like Deepavali when Bhagavan Krishna comes back. This is all described in detail. I skipped over these portions, the details, but we come to Raja Parikshita. And when he was born, when he came out of his mother's womb, he was looking around. And who was he looking for? Bhagavan Vishnu. That's why another name of Raja Parikshita is Vishnu Rata. Rata means the one who's been protected by Vishnu. If we think about ourselves, who protected us in our mother's womb? Was it our mother? Our mothers would have struggled so much being pregnant anyways when it comes to eating or emotions. It's only Bhagavan. And when he was born then, he was constantly engaged in pariksha. He was constantly looking at, where is Vishnu? Where is my protector? For us, we do that for some time as we're infants. But then we just get into Kali. We just get busy. And the whole purpose of us being born, Chandogya Upanishad, purpose leads to remembrance, to the macro, to the micro. All of that is lost fast. This shows the birth of Raja Parikshita. And then there's more about the Mahabharata, about what happens to Dhritarashtra, what happens to Bhagavan Krishna. And then Raja Parikshita becomes the ruler because it's no longer Raja Yudhishthira, correct? Before we can really know about what Raja Parikshita did, he has to become the Raja. So all of that is narrated. And then Raja Parikshita begins to roam his kingdom and sees Kali. There's many more chapters which within the first skanda to tune into that. Oh.